Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone, everywhere, depending on where and when you are watching. It's a bit dreary here in Philadelphia outside my door. Clouds have been playing peekaboo with the sun all day. So what's it doing in your neck of the woods or in your part of the world? Today's topic, secondhand merchandise. Do you like it? Is it good for our economy? Do you frequent the Goodwill stores, Buffalo Exchange, or other consignment shops looking for those secret treasures? You know, they say that one man's trash is another man's treasures. Do you find treasures in other people's secondhand merchandise? I am your co-host, Ambassador Lisa Parks, and welcome to Africaonline TV. If you're tuning in on Facebook and you want to join the conversation, join us on Zoom ID 514-199-8554. That's 514-199-854. And now for the editorial of the day with my co-host, Niasa.
Good afternoon, greetings, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are on the continent of Africa, or for that matter, in the rest of the world. Thank you, Ambassador Lisa, for kicking off the ball and making sure that we get into the field of play and into the mood of the discussion. It may be called second-hand, meaning already used by someone else, but does it meet or satisfy a need? We will be back. First, April 10, 2022 is the 100th day of the year. 2022, the year 2022, is a regular year, so there are 265 days left until the end of the year. April 10 is the 15th Sunday of 2022 on the 16th week of 2022. Today is the 22nd day of spring, Ambassador Lisa, leaving us with 72 days until summer. How is it always in Philadelphia when there's summer? Well, I hope it's always very cozy. Some April 10 United States holidays and popular observances, including, there were 12, but I took just 2, Palm Sunday today, and National Siblings Day. So please remember your siblings. It is their day, celebrate them, and give them those traditional hugs if we do them. April 10 is the 40th day of Lent for Christians and the 9th day of Ramadan for Muslims. As the observation of these days continue, Africaonline Media Corporation invites you and I to join our latest discussion. You heard Ambassador Lisa say it. And as you heard Ambassador Lisa say, our co-host, that is she is, our co-host says the topic is secondhand merchandise. Not just she, we all on Africaonline Media Corporation say so. It is secondhand merchandise or secondhand goods, call it the way you want. We will delve into that shortly. While that may be a universal appellation, various countries around the world and around the globe give secondhand merchandise different names. For example, in West Africa, especially in Cameroon, it is called okrika. In French, they say la fliperie. My words are tying up in my mouth there. But specialists in the area agree generally that secondhand merchandise has to do with, quote, new or used items not owned by the original manufacturer, retailer, or wholesaler. Such goods, they contend, generally carry no warranty, and the acquirer obtains such items as are, that is, in the state they are in at the time of sale or purchase. But that great book we turn to very often, Wikipedia, tells us that used goods mean any item of personal property offered for sale, not as new, including metals in any form except coins that are legal tender, but excluding books, magazines, postage stamps. So those are not secondhand merchandise. In general, therefore, items of clothing make up the bulk of secondhand goods or secondhand merchandise. One is tempted to quickly ask, but what does secondhand merchandise do to consumers and industry in the countries relying so much on such goods? The impact of second-hand goods is very noticeable on the local industries, especially the textile industries, where local brands are ignored in belief that what comes from abroad is better. Second-hand merchandise thus has a negative impact, preventing local industries from taking off and causing unemployment in their respective countries. So, no matter how we call them or see them, second-hand merchandise may meet or satisfy a need at a specific time. But are such goods really what we want to see around? If so, for how long? What do second-hand merchandise do generally to your environment? That is an aspect we should not ignore. What happens to those cars that we import, second-hand, used cars that we bring into our countries, and then in a very short time, 2-3 years, we have to look for a place to dispose them in? Do we have such space? So join our discussion and let's together talk about second-hand merchandise. Over now to the chair of Africaonline Media Corporation, Reverend Palm, to get the ball rolling. Reverend Palm.
Thank you so much, Nia Song. Happy Palm Sunday and happy Siblings Day. You're my big brother. So
thank you very much.
That's why I don't know the Mbangwa title for you, but you've been stuck with the Bali title that I gave you, me. So everybody's calling you Nia Song now. You know, and to my brother Ronald, happy Siblings Day. My sister, Ambassador Lisa, Sister Ruth, Sister Valerie, Valeria. So we have we have Valerie and we have Valeria today. So hopefully they're used. You know, last week Valeria was our guest, and they kept calling her Valerie. So I guess Miss Valerie had her name, and she decided to show up again today. So you're welcome. On behalf of Africaonline Media Corporation, I want to welcome all our viewers, all our guests, all our panelists, but I also want to wish all Christians and those who are celebrating Palm Sunday a very blessed Palm Sunday. Resurrection is the most important time of our faith. And for those who are not aware, Palm Sunday is the day that Jesus made his triumphant entry into Jerusalem, and his followers, Christians, welcome him with palm trees and palm fronds and everything palm. I even saw a lady with an outfit made of palms today. So the people have become very creative. And I see Ambassador Lisa's background, of course. So we want to really thank everybody. This topic, secondhand merchandise, when Yasa was reading his editorial, I thought about something that is very familiar here, garage sales. We don't do that in my country where I come from, but in this country, garage sales, I don't know if they still do them or not. I don't remember seeing a sign, you know. I haven't seen a sign in a while. I guess maybe because of all the online, you know, opportunities out there. But I think we're going to have a lot to say about this topic. I don't like secondhand anything. I don't like secondhand information, secondhand goods, secondhand anything. But at some point in everybody's life, you have either come across or be involved or acquired secondhand stuff. So I'll be sharing some of mine, but I mean, that was from decades ago. So I'd rather go without something than use a secondhand item, because as a child of God, I believe that only the best is good enough for me. So let me hand over to the anchors, Nia Song and Ambassador Lisa.
Well, there is no special guest, so Ambassador Lisa, you go first.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming. And before we get started, I am going to have a problem with my sister's name again, Valeria. Valeria.
Instead of Valerie, Valeria.
Valeria. Okay, so please forgive me if I butcher it again. And she looks so different. If her name was not there, I would not recognize her, except for her smile. So secondhand merchandise. Reverend Pam says she don't like it. She believes she deserves better, and she is entitled to get better. But do we do secondhand? Do we enjoy going to the Goodwill store and just looking through the things? Now there's this new website. Well, I won't even talk about the website because we're not.
Please don't, because they are not sponsoring this show.
But I just bought me some designer shoes. I just bought me a pair of designer shoes that I needed for the gala in October. they were at an amazing price, and I could not pass it up.
Awesome.
And they came in the condition that it was advertised in. So, but do we do that? You actually say there's no more garage sales. Very few people have garage sales anymore these days. But that's because we now have in Philadelphia, we have the Buffalo Exchange. We've got there's a couple of consignment shops, and we've got the Goodwill stores, which you used to be embarrassed and ashamed when your parents had to go to the Goodwill store and get you something out of there. But now there's so much designer stuff and household goods and all kinds of things. And the Goodwill store is like a supermarket. You go in there with your cart and you come out, you just spent $100 where stuff could have been thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. It's really, and a lot of people give their new things to the Goodwill store. So let's talk about secondhand merchandise. I had not even thought about the secondhand cars that are going to Africa. And I was trying to reach out to my brother who is in Australia, who ships cars to Nigeria. And I wanted to see if we could get him, but I hadn't thought about that kind of secondhand merchandise. But it's good for the economy. Is it good for any economy? You know, you're not using trees, you're not, skinning more cows, you're not skinning more lambs or shearing more lambs to make more fabric, because we're going and we're getting things that are already used. I personally, my mother taught us to only wear a gown once. So what do you do with your gowns after you've only worn them once? You take them to the Goodwill store so someone else can enjoy it. So let's join the conversation. Let's talk about secondhand merchandise. Anybody?
Yes, indeed. Let's talk about secondhand merchandise. Are you calling on somebody special to start?
I'm not calling on anybody specific.
Okay, before somebody else weigh in, let me clarify something.
Yes.
I don't like use anything. That doesn't mean in the past, I have never shopped at a garage sale. I have shopped at a garage sale, probably bought a desk or something, not clothing. I don't believe in wearing. I grew up among my brothers, so I was not used to getting hand-downs because I can't wear men's clothes. So I didn't get clothes from there. I got, I think, furniture from a garage sale. I know, I think in the late 80s, I'd been into Salvation Army. They have a store here in Houston. I haven't gone there for years in that area, but there's a Salvation Army, a thrift store. For those who are not familiar, I'm sure everybody's familiar with it. So I have, in the past, maybe 20 years ago, bought used items, but I don't trust used cars, so I've never bought a used car. I know they always say somebody sounds like a used car salesman or don't trust a used car salesman. So thank God I've never had to get a used car. So I just wanted to clarify that. And there's nothing wrong with secondhand items. There's nothing wrong. I just don't like using something that somebody else has used. So while other people are weighing in, I want to pose a question to everybody. What if you buy an outfit, because I'm sure there are things that have never been used, but they are considered used secondhand because it's changed hands. It went from somebody to somebody else. Let's say you buy a clothes or it doesn't fit you and you don't have anybody to give it to you, you take it to Goodwill. Is that really secondhand? It's not. It may be secondhand, but it may not be used. I want us to look at the intricacies of these things that we are talking about, because it has not been used, but it's secondhand because it went through somebody's hands first and then the other person. What I'm saying, I'm just speaking off the cuff. So I've not done research on whether it's secondhand or used or whatever. I just want to pose that question to the panel.
Anybody can go, please. Just go ahead and say what is on your mind.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm like Reverend Pam. I rarely buy anything secondhand. If I do, I look for something that's very old and can be an antique. Like around about 5 years ago, a friend of mine told me at the secondhand store they had a Victrola from 1924 for $500. So I had him get that for me. And I got that sitting in my house right now. It got a few scratches, and I can tell it's been used, but it still works. So that's one item. And as far as clothes, I have 4 brothers, 3 of them older than me. And when they got older, I used to get their clothes at hand-me-down. So I would get something secondhand that way. But other than that, I rarely go to secondhand or consignment stores.
So I'm going to go with the V's, but I will start with Valerie. So Valerie, please, what have you to say about secondhand merchandise, secondhand goods, whatever?
Excuse me. Well, thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. It's nice to see everyone, and happy Palm Sunday to everyone on the call. So normally I don't, my first place to look for something would not necessarily be secondhand. However, I have known people who were able to go into the secondhand shops, be it the thrift store, Goodwill, or whatever, and come out with great finds and decorate their apartments and it look absolutely beautiful. I just never had that sort of touch in order to go in and find those items. I always admired them. I remember one couple in particular who did this, and I was just amazed at the pieces that they found and how they were able to arrange their apartment, and it just looked gorgeous. So that would not necessarily be my first place to look for clothes or anything else of that sort, but lately, I have gone on to one of those retail or resale sites and found some really nice finds. I don't shop there often, but what happened was I had some items to sell. And it was suggested that I would put my items on this particular site and to sell it. They were brand new shoes or a pair of boots that I'd only worn once, and I was able to sell them, and it was very, very easy. And so what happened was I developed a bit of a curiosity, and I saw a pair of shoes that were absolutely gorgeous, and I said, oh, why not? So I purchased them, and I was very happy with them. But I found a vintage bag that you cannot find anymore for a very low price and great condition. But to shop, I've not been, that's not been my initial place to start. But recently I've moved several times in the past 10 years, I guess, more 6 to 10 years. And when I left Philadelphia, I left everything that I had, furniture, I mean, just everything, sold my house and moved out to Colorado, moving into a different type of a dwelling, and didn't need all of that furniture because I was moved in with family. They had everything. I just needed to buy just a certain couple pieces. But then since then, I've moved from Colorado to Massachusetts and then separated from that house. And so now, since I've gotten rid of all of my furniture and whatnot, then when I look around, I can, beyond this computer, look around at the furniture, and the furniture, everything that's in here now, and I think they're beautiful pieces, were actually given to me. So they were given to me from my sister's vacation home that she sold, that she only came in. So they used the furniture very little out of her guest room, a beautiful piece. So a piece from my son and daughter-in-law's upper area where the children usually hung out, which was hardly ever used, and it's a beautiful piece. So I've been able to get, I would call them secondhand because they were previously in someone else's home and used, but they were used very little. So basically, compared to a car, it had very little mileage on it. So in that respect, knowing where it came from,
Yes,
made a big difference for me. So, furniture, I would be, upholstered furniture and things of that sort. I would be very skeptical of purchasing secondhand from someone that I did not know because of concerns of infestation or things of that sort. So depending on where it's coming from. And so that's my clothes. Not necessarily, I'm not really too big on clothes, but that's my experience and my take.
Thank you very much, Valerie. My first experience with secondhand, anything secondhand, was when I came to this country in 1998. I had to get a car, did not have one before. So in 1999, I got a secondhand Camry. The user had used it very well. He had all documentation as to all the repairs he ever did on the car, all the servicings and so on. And I got that, and it served me for 3 years before I stood on my feet and was able to go for something brand new. That said, I know Valeria this time, clothing seems to be the key, the main thing when we talk second-hand good, especially in the developing countries. Clothing seems to be the topmost of all, especially in a country that, like Zambia. I was reading about it. They have a lot of used clothing in Zambia, and it is a way of life virtually for almost everybody in the country. But Valeria, I know back in Africa, especially in Cameroon and Nigeria, we talk of okrika, which is, well, a name for second-hand used clothing. So Valeria, please, and thank you for the book. I received it yesterday. So please let me just inject that there before I give you the microphone.
You're welcome, Yasong. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so for me, growing up, I'll say secondhand clothing is not something that we bought, but it was a way of livelihood for a lot of people. They will buy secondhand clothing and resell them to make money. So I know a couple of people that did that for livelihood. But my experience is I don't buy secondhand clothing. The only secondhand thing that I have owned will be a car, and I normally get a car that is not brand new, but fairly new. And one of the reasons why I do that is one of my mentors always say, the goal of a car is to get you from point A to point B, if it's reliable. So get the one that is good, that can get you to point A and from point A to B without any issues. Because when you buy a car, the moment you leave the parking lot, the value drops. So because of that, the car doesn't appreciate. So I don't put too much value on cars. I don't pay too much for it because of that. But in terms of clothing, I'm not a fan for secondhand clothing. However, my kids' clothes, I normally ship them back home when they outgrow their clothes. I put them together. And my siblings and I, we usually do a clothing drive. So over the years, we will put clothes together from our kids, and some of my clothes too, they're fairly new, not really old, and we'll donate them. So we normally donate them back home. We'll ship them to Cameroon, and they donate them to different, sometimes to orphanages, and also to my dad's village. So they take it there, and during Christmas, they donate it to the kids and some parents that don't have. So we do that almost every year. We ship clothes back home. And one of my brothers also sells secondhand clothes from here. So we also put that together and send to him. So that's what we do with secondhand clothes, what we have used. Instead of, I normally donate them to Goodwill sometimes, but I started shipping them home. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're turning to Sister Ruth. What is your experience, or what is your knowledge about secondhand merchandise, secondhand good, whatever we call it?
Before Sister Ruth speaks, I want to remind our viewers that she had 18 siblings. Her mother had 19 children. And Ambassador Lisa, please work on that show.
I am working on that show.
Women who have given birth to more than 10 children. We need to do that show this year. Maybe soon. So I just want to remind, so being one of 19, I'm sure there was some recycling happening in that home.
Yes, there was some recycling happening in that home. We had hand-me-downs and the hand-me-downs. So, you know, people would give clothing to my mother would give it to the older sibling would give it to the younger sibling, and just hand it on down. So yeah, I'm very familiar with it, but as I have gotten older, I really have lost my taste for hand-me-down and secondhand clothing. except when it comes to my sisters and they have something very nice in their closet that I desire to have. Then it's okay.
Then it's okay.
But in
That's
our-
what big sisters are for.
Yes, but in our family, like these earrings that I have on, if my sister sees them and she says she likes them, for some reason we just take them off and give them to the sister because
Yeah.
that's just the way we are. The other thing is, it depends. They have an organization that help women that are in transition. So people donate their good suits so these women can go on job interviews looking decent. And I think that's a really good thing to help
Yes.
people like that.
Yes.
I also have seen the other side of secondhand shopping where it becomes like an addiction and your house is full with just
Hoarding.
all this stuff. I just think there has to be a balance with it, and what works for you may not work for me, but I am pretty much done with secondhand clothing, secondhand shopping, secondhand furniture. You know, like I said, my family's big, so oh, you're moving, here's my couch, use my and I'm to the point now because we're transitioning into a new home that I don't want anything in here. I'm just I want nothing except for my really good pants. But other than that, so when done well and done right and done for a reason, secondhand clothing can be truly a blessing to people who do not have.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Let's turn. I see Reverend Solange. Is she coming in, or she just? If you are there, please unmute yourself and give your point of view on secondhand merchandise, secondhand goods. What do you think about it?
Okay, let me just say something because
Yeah.
for some reason, this is the first time I actually thought about this. Sister Ruth is part of our show, a permanent part of our show. But did you guys know that our CFO's name is Ruth also?
No.
Oh, okay, Reverend Solange, please unmute yourself.
No, we have 2 Ruths and 2 almost Valeries.
No, 2 Ruths and 2. I just remember that her name is Ruth. So I asked our CFO, and her birthday was yesterday. So happy birthday, belated birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, so I just thought about it, and I just said, you know, let me mention that because Sister Ruth is always here. So Sister Ruth, that's your namesake. That's our CFO.
Ruth are very nice people. They're very nice people.
From biblical times, yes.
You know, even in real terms, they're very nice people. All right, that being said,
you need to at least let them know if your name is really Ruth.
No, my name is Ruth. That's my middle name. My name is Solange Ruth Gabis. There are some people that only call me Ruth. It depends which one is more comfort, which one they feel like they can pronounce more. Some people cannot even pronounce my name Solange, and I tell them this is one of the most common French names. If you're from a French colony of France, every other person is Solange. It's a very common name like Mary, Susan, whatever.
Yes.
It's very common. But it has a beautiful meaning, which means sun angel. Okay. So secondhand clothing, that's our, is it just on clothing or anything?
Secondhand goods. Secondhand goods.
Secondhand goods, okay. There's some things I will not buy secondhand, and that's electronics. Computers. I'm telling you, I would not. I could handle growing up. Yeah, I've worn secondhand outfits before where I grew up. Sometimes, you know, my mom, she did most of the shopping. She had this guy that used to bring some secondhand goods, and they were like very nice. Some of those ones that I hardly worn, and she would select a few. It was not the norm because my mom was a seamstress. She made most of our dresses. So we really didn't have a need for secondhand goods per se. But every now and then, this guy would bring some stuff, which was really nice, and she would buy them for us. I'm not too crazy about secondhand things. And maybe I'll look at the spiritual aspect of it, like who owned them? Where are they coming from? And in economics, we always talk about dumping. Sometimes in like they take some of these secondhand goods and dump them in underserved areas, and that could cause a major problem. Another thing with secondhand goods is sometimes they are really secondhand. And they take advantage of the people. I've seen that. When people scramble over secondhand goods in open market, like where I come from, in Cameroon, they bring like bales and bales of all the secondhand, and people scramble, to get them. And I understand, because sometimes that's all they can afford. I really don't have anything against secondhand goods, except secondhand electronics. Whether it's computer, music, set, what, because I've never had luck with secondhand electronics. So anything that I buy, whether it's musical instrument, computer, anything, printer, is brand new. So that's my take on it. I really don't have nothing against secondhand goods. Something that's awesome. People can really afford not to be walking naked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We have somebody from Sierra Leone, Salifo Toure. If he can unmute himself, please. I know it's late there, and you may want to be going to bed soon. So please, what is your take on second-hand merchandise, second-hand goods? Are they available in Sierra Leone?
Hello, happy Palm Sunday to you all.
Thank you.
Yes, there are. You're welcome. You're welcome. Even the chairs that I'm using, they are second-hand material. In fact, most of the things we use here, be it electronics or home furnitures, they are second-hand. Reason being because for you to buy a brand new, let's say for a laptop, a brand new laptop, the last time I was trying to buy one, when I went to the shop, they say it's $1,700, which in Sierra Leonean loans, it could be something like 17 million loans. Imagine somebody is working for $100 a month. Can he afford that? Except we have to resort to buying second-hand materials, because looking at the economy, and the money for which we are getting here and there, one just has to use or buy second-hand material. And for this second-hand material, for some of them, I can tell you for free, they are very good. Like the chair I'm using, I think maybe I can even make a video for you all to take a look and see. Hold on, please.
That's okay. That's okay,
Yeah.
Salifo. We believe you.
Yes.
Yes.
So you see, this is my chair,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, they are second-hand.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So, so they are not that bad anyway. The ones we are using here, they are not that bad. They've been helping us in order for us to be able to have home furnitures, laptop, television, and so on. See, though there are some, when you buy them, you regret buying them. But that's just it. Yeah. That's for my end, That's it for my end.
Thank you, Salifo. Uncles, before we go to Vera, I always tell people, and this don't misunderstand this, that it is expensive to be cheap. There are people that buy used cars and they end up spending so much money on that used car. It would have been cheaper for them to buy a new car, maybe a new cheap car, than to buy a used expensive car. Yeah, I say that all the time. But I want to ask a question. Vera is going to weigh in on secondhand material. Do you guys think, because I know when I came to this country in 1985, maybe the first 10 years, there were no dollar stores. I don't remember seeing dollar stores. So do you think the existence of dollar stores have actually, interfered or negate the need for used items? Because you can go to a dollar store and buy brand new plates. Up until this recent inflation that we are in, the dollar stores, there were actually some dollar stores that everything was $1, even though there are a lot of fake dollar stores. You go to some dollar stores, the cheapest thing is $1.47, but they tell you
there are no more dollar stores.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that last store in January raised their price to $1.25, but they still call them dollar. I know there's even a store that claimed they're below $1, but the cheapest thing there's $1.47. So to me, it's false advertisement. But I'm saying, I want to ask two questions, and anybody can weigh in. Do you think the fact that dollar stores sprang up, I don't know if they are in other states. In Houston, we have a lot of dollar stores. We have 99 cents. We have all kinds of, I don't want to name all of them because I'm not trying to advertise for them. We have all kinds of dollar stores in this Houston, and some of them carry groceries. I'm very skeptical about their groceries, but I'm just saying, do you think those stores have actually interfered with the used item stores? And then the other thing, consignment stores. I do go to consignment stores like Burlington, Ross. I do go to those stores. The first time I went to Ross, I was looking for a pen because somebody told me I was looking for a fancy pen. They told me I could go there, but I get a lot of household items, that's kitchen items, you know, like dishes and from them, towels, you know, from them. So, but I'm just saying, so do you think the existence of those stores, dollar stores and consignment stores, has really made used stores irrelevant? I don't know what they are
Not at all.
and the prices, so I cannot tell, but I want you guys to weigh in on that.
Well, I'll start. I don't think it has made secondhand stores irrelevant at all, because like I said, Goodwill stores and things like that sell different types of things. I have a sister who, because of the dishes that we can get at the dollar store with the glasses and the saucers and the cup, she changes her kitchen set every season. Whole new set, and you can do that now for $20. You can get your new set of dishes, but it doesn't take, see, the dishes that I find in the Goodwill stores are those old antique type of dishes that grandmother's grandmother had. I had a sister, I was calling her, trying to get her on the show today. She's been going to the Goodwill store and she's been getting furniture, and she's been taking it home and setting it down and polishing it up and refacing it. And this is a new line of business for her. So merchandise has been working out favorable for her. I have another sister who I was hoping to have as a keynote speaker for today, but she is actually in a play today. She's been going to the Goodwill stores and secondhand stores, and she's been getting garments, and she's been doing the comparison with the magazines, with the runway models and the different award shows. And she's been buying things and she's comparing herself with them, and she's looking just like them. So that's become her new obsession. And she's looking better than the actresses who have worn it. But I think that all of the stores that we have are playing their very significant roles, and nobody is canceling out the other. Like I said, my dollar store, I can get groceries. I got a freezer section. I go there before I go to the supermarket. And then what I can't get from there, I'll go to the supermarket and get. But I think everybody is playing their part, their portion.
Yes.
Because there's a market for everybody. There's a market for people who can only shop at the dollar store or the Save a Lot. And then there's people who can afford to go to the market. I'm not going to say that I don't go to, I wouldn't use secondhand electronics, because I did have to go buy me a refurbished laptop, because when my main laptop quits on me, then I have to borrow my son's, who was busy with his. So I said, let me just get me another piece of electronics. Just when this one goes down, I have another one that I don't have to bother him or borrow. Welcome, Carol from Uganda, OCBA Otia. Welcome. We're glad to have you back again for a second week. So
since Carol is zooming in from Uganda, can we give her the mic before we go to Vera?
Carol, are you there?
Sure. If she can unmute.
I'm here.
We're talking about secondhand.
Yes, I'm here.
Secondhand merchandise. Is it beneficial? Does it hurt the economy? Do you use secondhand merchandise? What is your take on the secondhand market?
Secondhand merchandise is actually very beneficial. It's what most people, the local person, can afford in Uganda. If it comes to clothes, it's what we call mivumba in Uganda. That's what you'll find in the market.
Can you say that again?
Mivumba. Yes.
Mivumba.
Mivumba, yes. There's a second-hand clothes in Uganda. That's what you'll find most people buying in the market, the common person. And When it comes to electronics, I do not know how far you had gone. Electronics, surprisingly, the second-hand are more expensive in Uganda than the newer, yes, the newer type from China. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, the
know-
newer electronics are
What?
cheaper.
The reason I don't buy them,
than-
I've never been lucky with secondhand electronics. They're
You
always
so
good.
you're saying that the used refurbished electronics is more expensive than new ones?
Than the new ones, yes, because most of the new ones are being made in China. So they're quite cheaper. They are not as strong though, but they're cheaper. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
But I was thinking that it was because it takes people to do the actual work to, to wipe it, to refurbish it, to build it up. I would think that that's why it would be costing.
the reason I don't buy electronics secondhand is because I'm not lucky with them.
Oh.
Each electronic I bought secondhand, something goes wrong. Even when I buy them, like places like Best Buy, or because Best Buy and Walmart, they have a refurbished section of computers and all that. Even when I buy things like that from Best Buy, Walmart, something is not right with them. Sometimes I have to take it back twice to get a good exchange. So I stopped buying electronics, computers, refurbished. I just add maybe $100 or $200 and get a new one.
And get your new one. Yes.
I just posted something on the chat box. Salifu, please kindly post the name of what you guys call used items in Sierra Leone. In Cameroon and Nigeria, we call it okrika. And then Carol, you said in Mevumba, please, I don't want to post it on the chat box so that viewers, because thousands of people are going to watch this show later on YouTube and Facebook. Please type it on the chat box so that we know the correct spelling. And I see Vera has turned on her camera, so we'll go to Vera.
Hello, what's your take on second-hand merchandise, second-hand goods?
Happy Palm Sunday, everyone.
Thank you very much.
I don't have a problem with second-hand merchandise. If that's what somebody can afford, then that's what they should get. I don't have a problem with it.
Do they use a lot of second-hand merchandise where you live?
Not really. I live in Livingston, Texas, so there's not really any there's not a lot of second-hand stores or stuff like that.
Okay.
Ambassador Lisa?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let me see what am I going to go ahead with. So I have never had a new car. I've always had used cars. And I've only had real problems with one. My most favorite car was my very first car, was a 69 Dodge Dart, olive green. I miss that car still today. I don't like these new cars. So I am kind of in favor. If the car has been well kept, like Nia Sung said, he got his first car when he came to the country. The previous owner had good records on it. So he was blessed to be able to get a used car that had been maintained very well. I bought mine from a dealer and mine was maintained very well. I just drove it till it just wouldn't drive anymore. But my favorite is still a 69, 70, 450 SLC, black convertible. If anybody is in the market for giving, just want you to know that's my favorite car. So we're talking about, we still got a lot of time before we get to the top of the hour. Okay, we've talked about our use of secondhand merchandise. Let's talk about how we think it benefits or hinders a country's economic growth.
That is a big deal.
I too, like Reverend Solange, my mother was a seamstress, and there were 3 of us girls. And my mother made our clothes every single day.
Yeah.
Day that we got up,
all our dresses,
new skirts to wear to school.
Yep.
Made our gowns. That's why we only wore a gown once, because she was going to have a new gown and she didn't
all the time
in the same gown twice. So, and that mindset has still carried on. But now we can take our used merchandise and we can share them with other people. We can give them to facilities that can sell them to people who can afford them. Like I said, I like some shoes. I like quite a few name brands. And, you know, they're very expensive to go to the store and buy brand new. But now my nephew has turned me on the website. My shoes came immediately. They're very good. I have them already packed away with my gown waiting for October.
Oh my God. You'll be able to talk about the October event. You have been promoted. We don't even have the flyer yet, but I have a question for everybody. Do you think shopping at a secondhand stores or online or whatever make you spend more money? I say this because when I go to the dollar store, I end up spending, like, for example, yesterday, I was looking for lint eater. That was the only thing that took me into the dollar store. Not only did I not find the lint eater, I came out with a cart full of stuff. Remember, I can assure you, if I went to an expensive store, I would not have bought anything. But I went there to look for lint eater.
A what?
A lint eater, the stuff that you use to remove lint from your
Oh, okay, a lint roller. Okay.
Yes, they call it lint eater or
a lint eater. Okay.
So that was the only thing that took me in there. But I came out with, I'm not going to tell you how much I spent in the dollar store.
It's a site.
I'm asking that question, that do we end up spending more money than saving money by going to these used stores or to get used items?
The dollar store is not really a used store, but I call it the nothing under $20 store.
Ambassador Lisa, listen to my question. Okay, forget about dollar store. I was giving you an example of me going.
Oh, okay.
Okay, when you go to used stores or Goodwill, or when somebody goes to Goodwill or Salvation Army, do they end up spending more money than they would have spent if they went to a regular store just to buy a purse? Do they go to the used store and they see several purses, several designer purses, and end up spending money that they would not have spent? After you, Salifu's hands is up. I need everybody to weigh in on that.
That is not my case, but Salifu, your hand is up. Two participants had their hand raised. Ruthie, go ahead while we wait for him to unmute.
I do believe that certain things, if you see a designer bag and it's in the store for $5 and they have two more in different colors for $5, you want to go get those other two bags, whether you carry them or not.
Exactly.
So I do believe that it does sometimes cause you to spend more. It's just the way, just like when they have a buy one, get one free sale, you end up buying four because it's buy one, get one free.
Exactly.
Now, when they have buy one, get one free, especially when it's like food items, I usually take that second meal and I share it with a homeless person as, you know, while I'm out, instead of taking home the two meals. Unless, like I said, unless I'm going to a nice restaurant or something. But if I'm going to a fast food restaurant, I'll get that second meal and I'll share it. So I'm not actually wasting money. I'm not actually spending more money than necessary because I'm able to be a blessing to someone else. Anyone else want to weigh in on Reverend Pam's question?
I think Salifu
had it.
Right. Oh, Salifu.
Yes, it depends. Yeah, to answer the question, it depends on the kind of item you intend buying. There are certain items, when you buy them, you end up spending more than you could have originally spent in buying the brand new one. But wherein for some, the second-hand are much more guarantee, you know, when using them, and they could last much longer with you. Let's say, for instance, what is the most important thing whenever you're buying anything, whether if it's second-hand or something brand new? You have to be knowledgeable in what you're buying. You have to know exactly its use, like how long, what kind of care can be placed upon it, because I can buy something very brand new and it can still be faulty, right? So whatever you want, whenever you intend buying something, you need to know, let's say if you want to buy a refrigerator or a laptop, you need to be able to discern, and by just looking at it, looking at the functionality, you can tell that this one is good and this is bad. You know, one has to have that ability, like by looking at the instruments or looking at the thing you intend buying, you can make the judgment to say, okay, this can last much longer, despite it's a second-hand thing. So the question Reverend Pam asks again as to how we call second-hand goods. We call them bile stock. Like for the toiletries, we call it bile stock. The toiletries, they have different names. For the toiletries, we call them bile stock, like the paste, the soap, and so on. All the toiletries, we call them bile stock. And for the other things, like the television, the laptop, the home theater, we call them Belgium stock.
Oh, wow.
So those are the different names we give them here.
Ronald, your take?
Yes. I agree with Reverend Pam. When you go to a store or a secondhand store and you can get things inexpensively, you tend to spend more. Like when I go to a free library used bookstore, they have books there for like $2 and $3. So I usually wind up buying like $20, maybe $25 worth of books because I like the subjects and most of them are business-like books, but I usually end up spending a lot of money. Also, I have a phonograph, and I would buy a whole lot of records and albums from there too, because they are very inexpensive.
I'm going to ask you, you said that you bought a Victrola, right?
Yes,
Do you have vinyls to play on that?
Yeah, I had got them from the free library, 78s. That's what they play.
70. Okay, cool. That's awesome. That
it still works.
That you're able to play. Garrett is the medical examiner on Crossing Jordan, and he's always listening to the Victrola in his office playing his vinyls. I just love that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hear from Valeria before she goes to our other meeting. Do you think going to secondhand stores or thrift stores make you end up spending more money than you would have?
Yes, I think because of the price, when you go into a thrift store or a dollar store, you tend to just pick up items. You suddenly have a need for things that you see because of the price. So you pick up things, and before you realize you're spending more than what you planned.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, last week I went into the store to buy. I went to buy flour. I went to buy balloon to take to my brother-in-law that was in the hospital, and a card. But when I left the store, I had it was a giant dollar store. And when I got in, before I realized I had bought hangers and socks for my boys. Because when I saw the price, I was like, oh, this is cheap. And so I ended up spending more than what I had planned and buying things that I did not even had in mind when I went into the store. I was going to buy a card.
Impulse shoppers.
Yes.
Impulse shopping.
Before I realized I was buying socks, and yeah, so it's a lure when you go into a dollar store.
I want to say something. Those from Cameroon, I don't know if it applies to those in Uganda or Sierra Leone. You can weigh in after the top of the hour. But one of the reasons why, when I was growing up, my dad got our clothes. But so I don't even think my dad knew there was something like okrika anyway. But I'm just saying, in the market, my understanding was that thing had some smell. It had some odor. I personally never went around. I don't know if that's the truth or not. Maybe they did not treat it. Maybe some people treat it. I don't know. I want people to weigh in on it, because in me growing up, my own experience was that it was a taboo. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like I said, my dad bought my clothes and he always sewed them, but I'm just saying, and I grew up with my brother, so I didn't have hand-me-down. My older sister was way older than me, so I was not in the house. She was not in the house when I was growing up. So I don't have hand-me-downs because I grew up among boys. But again, and then I didn't have that experience of shopping, used clothes or whatever, because my dad always made my clothes. So, but this thing about this okrika thing, is it something, like I say, in my own experience, it was a taboo, and they said it always smelled. I don't know because I don't have first-hand knowledge of it. And so I want those on the continent to weigh in if that was the truth. Maybe there are some high level okrika that people treated before they sold. You know, I don't know. Okay, Carol's hands are up. Go
Most
ahead,
ways to
Carol.
buy them and wash them.
Carol, lower your, unmute yourself and weigh in.
Yes, I just wanted to agree. They have a certain smell, which I believe is probably treatment before shipping. However, you just get them, wash them, and once you iron them, no one would even know it's secondhand. And like I mentioned earlier, surprisingly, the secondhand are more durable than the new ones because the affordable new clothes we have are coming from China. Yes.
And I
will from China last.
No.
Yes, they must be China last. So they are not as durable as the second hand. You get the second hand, ignore the smell, soak it, wash it, iron it, and you rock the look.
All right. She said you rock the look. Yeah. Also, I didn't know that they treat them, but I was thinking that, you know, however long it takes them to ship them, bags,
yeah.
You know, sometimes it rains, it gets mildewish. So that may be part of the smell. So yes, secondhand things must always definitely be washed. I personally, when I send secondhand clothes, I know who I've gotten them from. So I know there are things that have been well cared for. Children have not worn them forever. And mostly, especially for my grandchildren, I try to go to the store and buy them brand new. My son has taken me to the market in Uganda, and I was overwhelmed at the things that you could buy in the market. So I'd be like, nope, I'm sending my grandkids brand new things. Whenever I get around to it, they're getting brand new things. I love to go to the store when it's clearance, like right after Christmas.
Clearance.
Right after the season change and they mark all those things down, I try and snatch it up so I can ship it.
But let me ask you guys, isn't that something, I don't know, is it like rent or something the runway? Isn't that something like that?
That's what I was about to say about renting wedding gowns. Renting.
Oh yeah, there's a rent. You can rent any gown. You can rent any.
That's second hand.
That's second hand.
That is second hand.
Yes.
That's what I was about to say.
You can pick it out. You buy it. You wear it to your function, and you send it back. And they keep cleaning it and making sure that you know.
No, that because me, I don't know. I'm very particular about goods on my body. You don't know who wore it before it got to you. Nothing against them. Everybody has their comfort level. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather go without it or buy something cheaper that I can afford than rent something that is, you know, astronomical in price, you know, and be wearing the same clothes that somebody that I don't even know wore. That was just me. And I just thought about it. I remember seeing something on television.
No, it is a big business
or something.
That's a very big business as well.
Some people used to buy stuff and just wear it to the party. They don't take the tag off and then go back and return it after the party. So I know some friends used to do that. So I'll be like, what can you do?
And that is worse because they are returning with the tag. The person who is buying anything, they are buying brand new, not knowing they are buying second hand.
Yes. Yes. Like our good stores, like Macy's and Nordstrom Racks, you can take things back there, and all along as long as the tags are still on them, so people go in.
Yeah, but now we
just for the record, since our ambassador mentioned some stores, we are not encouraging anybody on this show to go and buy stuff and leave the tag and take it back. We are discouraging that. That is dishonest. Just for the record.
But now because of COVID, most of the stores have changed their policy. You can't they just say you can't return because of COVID. So
that's one good thing that has come up from COVID too.
And I am now getting a good look at Vera, and I almost thought that was Val for a minute. So I had to look at her name. I was like, okay, they are identical twins. I can really good this week.
You remember with different hairdos.
They are triplets.
So you see, if you see them with, like I said, they are the same height, same size, same complexion, same dentition. Everything is the same, even their voice. So isn't that awesome?
It's great.
All right. So we're at the top of the
It looks like we're at the top of the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so let's roll.
Okay.
Please don't go away. Just have a sip of water and come back to the show. We'll continue in a few minutes.
Oh, Africa.
What happened?
Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. We really want to know your history. Please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us a wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people, with so many cultures, yet indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us all unite behind Africaonline Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey. Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does, to identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards. As one people with so many cultures, yes, indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. Oh. Education for everyone. If we believe prosperity for Africans, if we believe medical facilitation for Africans, if we believe stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. We were enslaved not because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Stand up, Africans, let's jump on the Africaonline Miracle Jet. shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
No more lies. Africans own Africa. Did we hear that? So I know Ambassador Lisa is on a high right now, but next week, as a matter of fact, this topic just came while we're on the show. We're going to talk about something else, but I texted the anchors. I got a response from Niasong. Ambassador Lisa has been busy, so I think a good sequel to this show will be hoarding. We have never done a show on hoarding, and hoarding is a problem in our community, both here and back home. Brother Ronald is nodding, Sister Ruth. So I think is that okay, Ambassador Lisa?
Hey, I won't have much to say. I'll be here.
Good. Okay, we're going to be talking about hoarding next week. So I'm going to hand over to Ambassador Lisa and then Niasong.
Okay, Niasong said he was frozen, but he is still there. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, come one, come all, tune your ears into what I have to share. Africaonline Media Corporation has its ongoing fundraiser called Operation Borehole 55. It is our desire to put a borehole in every country on the continent of Africa. We're looking for those medical facilities that have no running water, no clean running water, and they are government approved with no running water. But we want to be a help and a blessing to our daughters and our sons on the continent. So if you can, please, sir, please, ma'am, donate toward this project. It does not matter whether you have dollars, rands, pounds, nairas, we take it all. And every dollar, every penny, every nickel goes towards the borehole project. We take out no administrative fees. We're not taking out money for airplane flights to go there and see it's done. We have boots on the ground that are overseeing it, but we need you to help us help them. Go to our website at www.africaonlinetv.org and make a donation. You can make a monthly donation, a weekly donation. You can make a one-time donation. It does not matter. All of it helps. Right now, our first borehole project has been completed. It's in the country of Sierra Leone. And we will soon be moving on to Kenya for our second project. And we will be talking to you about our upcoming next fundraising event to get on with the Kenya project soon. But not only is the borehole in Sierra Leone complete, it also has a tap that goes out so that the village can use the water. And the engineer who oversaw the project, not only was he impressed with what we were doing, but he donated his time to wire the medical clinic so that the labor and delivery room is now wired with lights. And so is another portion, I think maybe
reception room.
The reception area
two rooms. Yeah, 2 rooms.
He wired 2 rooms for us free of charge. And that is a blessing because we just wanted to get water to the village. And now they have lights and water and clean water. So think it not robbery. The Lord will bless you real good if you just consider donating. Again, we take a weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, big sums, little sums, we take it all. Again, visit our website at africaonlinetv.org. Go to YouTube, look at Africa Online TV and see some of our videos. See the countries that have already submitted their videos for an opportunity to get a borehole in their country and see what's actually going on over there. And then you'll have a heart and maybe there'll be some compassion. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing and hearing from you.
Lisa, may I just correct one thing? I want to make sure they don't misunderstand you. The rooms don't have light yet. He is yet to do it, but he volunteered to do it. So we want to make sure the water is running. The people are getting the water, but he is going to do. Once the room is wired for lights, then we will let you guys know they actually have the lights. But we are waiting for the ribbon cutting ceremony. However, they are already using the water. So once that ribbon cutting ceremony happens, we'll announce the next fundraiser. We want that ribbon cutting. The water is running, but we want to make it official. And I'm glad Sally is in Sierra Leone. He's going to attend that event also.
He can attend the event and he can Zoom it or Facebook it live so that we
That's
can.
true. Yeah, we'll make sure the team that they do it live so we can participate. That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador.
Yes.
I don't know. Reverend Solange, do you want to say anything before Nia Song talk to our French people? You're our CFO. Reverend Solange, are you there? All right, Nia Song, go ahead. Maybe she stepped away.
Merci beaucoup, mesdames et messieurs. Africaonline Media Corporation est en train de construire des adductions d'eau en Afrique, c'est-à-dire le puits d'eau, de l'eau potable, parce que de l'eau c'est la vie, c'est notre mot de passe, l'eau c'est la vie. Et nous vous prions de donner quelques sous, le peu que vous pouvez, pour qu'on continue à creuser ce puits d'eau, de l'eau potable dans les centres de santé développés dans les divers pays africains. Il y en a 55 pays en Afrique. On a commencé au Sierra Leone. Le prochain sera au Kenya. Pour le moment, ce qu'on a construit au Sierra Leone est fonctionnel. L'eau coule déjà dans le centre de santé développé. Et nous vous prions parce que les femmes ne peuvent pas accoucher dans les centres de santé sans de l'eau. Donc, c'est très, très important que vous nous supportiez pour qu'on puisse continuer à développer ce puits d'eau potable dans les divers pays africains. Va sur notre site web www.africaonlinetv.org africaonlinetv.org pour faire votre contribution. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine, donc la semaine prochaine. Merci, Madame Ambassador.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Nia. Back to our topic. We are going to be coming up soon. So,
say what you're saying.
Not yet talked about how secondhand merchandise enhances or hinders the economy. And none of us are economists, so we're all just going to be kind of speculating and throwing out what we think. So let's talk about.
Okay, I'm going to weigh in. Reverend Solange is an accountant. She should be able to say something about that. This is just what I think. Every time you can get people to spend money, you are stimulating the economy. This is just my thoughts to that. So giving people the opportunity to shop at a discount stimulates the economy. It helps the economy. It also creates jobs, you know, because the busier they get, the more people they need to employ. If these opportunities were not there, people would sit at home and not shop because they can't afford it. And I think and I may be wrong, I don't have any statistics on this, but I think those stores like consignment stores, you know, they make more money during this time than those high-end stores. That's why a lot of high-end stores are shut down because people are not shopping. They're not spending that much money. So they go to those consignment stores or those cheap stores or used item stores, you know, to buy things that they need. So I think it's an economic stimulus.
Well, Reverend Palmer, I'm going to disagree with you at that point because when we talk production, it is not a stimulus because they're bringing these things from China, from whatever country. And so the industries, the local industries, the clothing industries cannot work the way they should work. The breweries cannot produce locally, local consumption, consumable goods. So production becomes a problem, therefore hindering employment. But whatever it is,
wait, what do you mean? The used clothes you think the used clothes are coming from China?
Yeah, they're coming from China, Malaysia, and so on. They are not coming from Africa. They're coming from
you talk about, okay, what are you talking about? Used items? Or what are you talking about?
Yeah, used items, even the cars, they're all imported. And they
let me clarify something. It stimulates, when I say it stimulates the economy, the people that have those stores are making money.
Yes.
The people that have those stores are making money. And people are spending money. So there is a stimulus. We're not talking about increase in production. We're talking, okay, if the stores were not there, people, even if there's increase in production, if there's no demand, the supply, I mean, there won't be, I mean, there's no point having supply where you don't have demand. So it still stimulates. I'll argue with you that it still doesn't matter where they're coming from. People that have these stores, they have a job, they have a business, they are creating jobs for the local community and helping the local people shop. If those stores were not there, those people will keep that money. They will not go and spend that money in high-end shops near some. So I'm not going to
Agreed. Yes, the distribution brings jobs, but the production at local level, local industry is hindered because, for example, the textile industry doesn't work the way it should work because all these things are brought from abroad and sold at cheaper rates. But what is produced locally, people don't buy because they think they are more expensive or of low quality. Take, for example, sikam in Cameroon. Many people in Cameroon were not used to wearing sikam because it is produced locally and people thought that it was poorly done. So they prefer to buy what is brought from outside, which is second-hand good. That is my argument.
Now, I agree. Real quick, Ambassador Lisa, let's finish this point. That should force the local producers to improve the quality of their products, make them what they say order winning factors and qualifiers. Is their item, do they bleed? Does the fabric made by the local textile industry, does it bleed when you wash it or it doesn't? So it should force them to become competitive with the items that are being imported because, and I'm sure if they produce good qualities, the people will like to patronize them. But if you're not producing a good quality, you will not. I'll give you an example like palm oil. I would prefer to buy palm oil made from an African country, but I'm going to tell you right now, the palm oil I use is not made in Africa. And it's because, look, I'm not going to put something in my mouth that doesn't taste good or have an aftertaste because I'm trying to patronize Africa. Then they need to up their game and produce palm oil that is of the same quality that is made outside Africa. And these people came and took the palm kernels from Africa. So we need to hold them to the same standard. I would prefer to support them and buy Africa, but I need them not to take shortcuts or learn how to produce better quality palm oil so that we can support the local palm oil mill.
Ambassador Lisa.
With that being said, I wanted to share a point about, especially in Africa on the continent, how they won't buy their merchandise that is made locally because they think it's inferior. I was there and I went to buy some outfits to bring back with me for my sisters. And everything I was seeing had tags made in China. And I was like, why are these things made in China when they're made right here in America? Someone took me to the shop and they took me in the back where the women are actually sewing. And they were back there making the garments and they were sewing in tag that said made, because the people will not buy things that are made.
Oh my God.
They want it imported, quote unquote. But those women were back there sewing in the tags that said made in China. I said, I don't care what you're doing. And I know I'm seeing it with my own eyes. I cannot take this outfit back home to my sisters with a tag that says made in China.
Exactly.
So make me this outfit without putting that tag in it. Okay. But I was surprised. I was surprised to find that is happening. And
that's adulterated products. But let me tell you, they do that in China too. They do stuff. They make fake stuff. The piracy is common. They don't say anything wrong with making even all this name brand stuff. They make that there, you know, and they put the names or those. I'm not calling any of those name brands, and all that is adulteration.
Mm-hmm.
I think Reverend Solange is back. When we called her, she was not, you know.
While we're waiting for Reverend Solange, Ronald.
Well,
okay.
What I can say is this. I had watched a program on television. I think it was last year sometime. No, it was on YouTube. It was on the computer. And I agree with Nia Song, whereas if there is no productivity on the African continent, capitalism suffers tremendously. and that they are not making money for their local, how can I say, producers, so to speak. But yeah, because many things, they say a lot of things are donated there from through charity. A lot of things come from foreign lands, and it's in competition with the local proprietors and organizers in Africa. So I agree with Nia-san that they need to do more to help the locals and to producing and making money for their society.
Solange, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was
The
question again?
on, yeah, I'm here. The question was about how secondhand goods has affected the economy.
Yes.
Okay. Like as I said before, there's something I learned is called dumping. Sometimes these countries where they have all these secondhand goods packaged and shipping to, say, third world countries, they dump all these goods and they make a lot of money. I was reading an article about the owner of Goodwill. He's a billionaire. That was very discouraging because I do donate a lot to Goodwill. I started looking for other avenues to donate. When I found out certain things about Goodwill store, I do not buy from Goodwill, but I donate a lot to Goodwill. And in some places, we talked about brand names. Some people would rather buy a secondhand merchandise, which has a brand name, than buy a new one because they're like, oh, this is made in China, whatever, it will not last. I want to buy something that says made in Germany, made in somewhere, United Kingdom or so, or made in America. But that is used. They rather buy that than buy something new that is made in their own country or made in the country where they feel that they make inferior goods. So sometimes, yeah, it depends. It could actually result to dumping in the economy.
I have a question. I don't know if anybody saw this, but it was on the news. I don't remember what year, but it was before the pandemic, where this, in Houston, I don't know about other towns or states, we have clothing donation boxes. They put them in parking lots, shopping centers.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's Goodwill. Yes.
Well, I don't think Goodwill is the only company that does that, but these guys, they were from Asian, I won't say which country, maybe South Asian, but I won't call the countries. They exposed them where all these items that were being donated were being put in barrels and shipped, and how much money was being made from a business. It's not a charity thing, it's a business. It was on the news.
Business.
And when you look at those things, it really discourages you. It's like giving money to people on the street. I tell people, I don't care if the beggar on the street is fake or not. Luke 6:38 says, "Give and shall be given unto you." So God will still bless you whether the recipient is fake or not. But my thing is, you donate these things, you still get your blessing, but then people are getting rich from your donation. So who is actually getting these donations and helping people and not getting rich off of? I know we have just 7 minutes, but let's weigh in before the anchors take the ground.
Let's hear from Ruth, because you were calling her before you came with that question. So you got 2 questions you can weigh in on there.
Okay. I think that we have to become more aware, and I agree with Reverend Pam. I'm going to buy the quality product, where whoever's making the quality, I'm going to buy from that person. And because we have this thing in our community sometimes, well, it's a black owned business, but if they're not giving me good service, I'm not going to take my money where I'm not getting good service.
Exactly.
So it goes beyond that. And also, for me, it's always educating people. Sometimes people just really don't know. It's like, this is the way it's done. This is the way I was taught. So we're going to keep doing it this way. But when we allow people to open up their eyes to the way things could be or should be done, then things will change in this world.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Ambassador Lisa, go ahead. I thought you
No,
were
I just was thanking
okay.
Ruth for her comments.
Okay.
We are at 5:25. Did you want to, we want to go a little longer?
Go take a
Reverend
round
Pam,
of
I
the
sent you
table.
a message.
You sent me a message?
No, Reverend Pam, I sent a message.
Okay.
On my phone?
No, on
Oh, go ahead. I said you could. Go ahead. It's October 8th and 9th.
What was that?
I said go ahead.
Oh, I thought that's what you had said, but then when you kind of cut me off.
Well, let me just mention it real quick. Yeah, and thank you,
Okay,
Ambassador Lisa. The flyer is not out yet, but it will be out this week. On October 8th and 9th, our sister organization, Africa's Brain Bank, is having their 3rd annual summit and charity ball. And there will be an academic symposium in the morning. We usually have a workshop in the morning. And it will be in Atlanta at the Atlanta Airport Marriott. Ambassador Lisa has been ready for this event since last year. So
no, since 2020. 2020 when I bought my gown for the first one.
Okay, since 2020 and the pandemic came and burst her bubble, you know, so this time she already has a show. I don't have my shoes, I don't have my clothes yet, but I'll be there live. I can tell you that it's a good thing we have our CFO here. So Ambassador Lisa, you can talk about it real quick, but we're gonna have the flyer, and once we have it, we'll share it. And then our not ambassador, our CFO is here, so you can talk about it real quick before we take the round of the table.
Well, I didn't want to have very much to say. I just wanted to tell people to hold the date, save the date, get ready.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fantastic event.
Oh, yes.
And, I don't know what hotel we're going to be at yet, but I
know Atlanta Airport Marriott.
Atlanta Marriott.
Atlanta Airport Marriott.
Oh, the Marriott Atlanta Airport. Oh, okay.
That has been confirmed. We just need to update just need to get the flyers out.
Okay. So you won't even have to go far. You can just fly into Atlanta, go right to the hotel. So I don't know much about downtown, how far it is from downtown. We're looking for a wonderful time.
It's beautiful. It's going to be an amazing event. So it's going to be an amazing. I'm talking about even the academic symposium in the morning is going to be, I tell you.
So we want everybody to get prepared to come to Atlanta October 9th and 10th. 8th and 9th, I'm sorry. 8th.
No, 9th. The main event is on the 9th. The 10th is a billionaire breakfast for sponsors. So you want to attend the billionaire breakfast, you better become a sponsor. So it's October 8th, that's the Saturday. Friday, we'll be there to set up, but it's a 2-day event, 8 and 9.
8th and 9th. So we to hold the date, save the date, start looking for your airfare now. The tickets, registration will be open very shortly. Will you be able to start making your payments for your tickets? It's only $100. Get your gown,
price has gone up. It's inflation. Let's just wait for the flyer.
I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm just going to say
the tickets are $125 because the meals and entertainment come up to about $128. So it's $125. But let's just wait for the flyer. The hotel said because of inflation, yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a round of the table. I'm going to start with Sister Ruth. Your last word on second-hand merchandise, second-hand goods.
My last word on that would be stewardship, being wise stewards of what God has given us. So if you're buying, make sure that you need it. Don't just buy it because it's an excellent price.
Awesome.
All right. Brother Ronald.
You're stepping on my toes.
Yes, my last word is that certain secondhand items are good for to be able to be used, but other items may be just hoarding them. They take up a lot of room in your house. So the main thing is when you buy secondhand, buy good quality and use it, and don't just hoard it. That's my last word.
Thank you so much. I don't know if the V's are still there, but there is Valerie.
No, they had to leave. They had a meeting. They had a meeting.
Okay. All right. Then I'll just go ahead now with Reverend Solange. Your last word.
Okay, on second-hand goods, as I said, it all depends on individual affordability and all that. Sometimes that's what some people can afford, but also look out for quality and avoid becoming a hoarder by going into like a second-hand shop and end up buying things that you do not need, because that's what happens. Like when Pam said about the dollar store. So you may go for second-hand goods and thinking they're cheap, and in the long run, they're expensive. Personally, I really don't have anything about it. It's not like something that I do, but most people growing up in Africa, one time or the other, wore second-hand stuff. But what I noticed was, even though they used it, they used to buy it, wash it. Some even people would put comfort. They used to do all sorts of things before they wear them. But it's a matter of buyer beware. And for our event coming up in October, African Brain Bank is a 501c corporation. Any donation, support, sponsorship is 100% tax deductible, and it's for a good cause. If you are for Africa, with Africa, please come up, show your support. Tickets will be open shortly for sale. Encourage other people to buy into it. Don't do it alone. Don't come alone. There are many people that have never heard of Africaonline Media Corporation, nor have they heard of African Brain Bank. Tell someone, evangelize our cause to other people. Together, we are stronger.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think the others have also gone. Salifo from Sierra Leone. I think
No, just look at your screen. They are not
time
there.
constraint. Yeah, that's why I said my screen had a mess. So I'm using the list I took at the beginning
Okay,
of the
we
program.
just have Brother Ronald.
Okay, now Brother Ronald has had his last word. So I'll go now to Ambassador Lisa for your last word on the program, on today's discussion.
I have two last words, actually.
Sure, go ahead.
My last word on the discussion is the wealth of the wicked is laid up
for the righteous.
So sometimes the wealth that God has laid up for you, somebody rich has already bought it, and now they no longer want it, and now it becomes your treasure. My second last word is about Palm Sunday. Can we just all lift up our hands since we are virtual? Wave our palms in the air. This is our
entry into Jerusalem.
Celebration. Hallelujah. Thank you so much.
Happy Palm Sunday.
Happy Palm Sunday. And last but not least, Reverend Pam, your last word.
Yeah, my last word is I'm so blessed to be an African, to be on this show, to be part of it. It blesses me every time I come here, no matter how tired I am. I mean, this is the place to be. Tell someone about it, share the show. As far as secondhand merchandise go, I have nothing against it or the people that use them. I personally prefer brand new items because as Jesus' baby, only the best is good enough for me.
Take care, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Pam. Thank you, Sister Ruth. Thank you, Brother Ronald. Thank you, Ambassador Lisa. Thank you, Reverend Solange, and all the others who participated from the beginning. We are very grateful, and we look forward to being with you again next Sunday. And it's going to be hudding. Think about it, come prepared, and let's have a great show. Thank you all, and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.